friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I made a terrarium using the plants that I had at home. From so long I'm thinking of making a terrarium using moss and I bought some plants from a nearby garden store. There are two varieties of moss near my grass area where the sprinklers always fall. So I was so happy by looking at the moss because I was searching for this moss varieties in different stores, but I'm not getting anywhere. So I was so happy and excited to see the moss growing in my garden itself. So this is a one variety of moss. This is mixed with grass also. So I will be removing the grass and I will only use the moss to build my terrarium. I'm watching lots of videos in YouTube. Like how to grow terrarium and how to what plants are used in terrariums and all. So whatever plants I have, I hope it goes well inside my terrarium jar. So let's see. So I had so much of moss I got from my garden. I was so happy and I thought of making at least two terrariums. This one which I am taking now is other variety of moss. This has a very small leaves. The other one had little feathery type of leaves, and this one has very small leaves, and this is the other variety that I will be using in the terrarium jars. These are the mosses I got, and so let's start the project. This is a glass jar which I had orchid before, so I took out the orchid, and these are the rocks, pebbles I am using in the bottom layer. So the drainage will be there. So we have to use some type of pebbles. So I am using these pebbles which I had at home. So we have to level the pebbles first. This is the soil which I am using to plant my plants. This is just a potting soil which I had at home. I use this for the other potted plants also. I have added the soil on one side little bit more so that it will form like a hill or on a mountain top. I had an idea in my mind, so let's see how it goes. I'm just adding soil wherever I can, and on one side it is less and the other side it is more. I'm using a brush to brush out the soil that is there on the glass walls. Otherwise it won't look good, so that's why I'm just dusting away the dirt. I have a log here which has some moss. This one I bought from Lassen when I visited Lassen last year. But this log doesn't fit in my glass jar, so I am using the small logs which has some moss, some dried moss actually, but the moss looks green in color, so I like this to use in my terrarium jars. So I am using here two logs. The first plant which I'm going to use in my terrarium is this gold moss. This I have a lot. I'm growing this in small jars in my garden. So I took a little bit of this gold moss and I am trying to put it on one side of the jar. After this I am using Fittonia. There are different varieties of Fittonias in the store. I had this one, I liked this one because of the red veins on the leaves. So I am taking this to put in my terrarium. This grows well in any terrarium jars. Any type of Fittonia grows well in the jars. So you can use any varieties like the red one or the green one or the pink one like how I have. After planting my Fittonia, I'm making space for my other plant that is a moss variety. This one I got when I went on a hike to Mount Diablo. I like this variety a lot. I don't know what the name is, but I got this from a branch of a tree. So I just plucked it from the bark, and it looked so nice, so I will be just potting that. Let's hope it grows in my terrarium. Usually these type of varieties grow very well in moisturous climate, so I hope this one grows in the jar. The next one I'm going to plant is this foxtail fern. These plants I have a lot in my garden, all around, everywhere around my pool and all. So this one grows very well in this jar. So that's why I have taken a small plant. This has roots that looks like bulb. This is how the roots look. So this grows well in watered space, so that's why I'm just having, I took one plant from my garden and placing it in the jar. Now I'm going to plant this small plant called as perennial aquatic vascular plant. This grows very well in watered soil. So I had this growing in a small pot, so I took a little bit of that and I'm planting it in my terrarium jar. This is how my jar looks inside. I will show you clearly later, after once I pot all the plants. I'm just adjusting everything, the soil and all. And this one I got from a nursery. Actually, it's if the all the plants are bad in this, but then too I have taken it because it grows well in my terrarium pot. So I'm taking a little bit of this. This is a ground cover. Ground cover means it covers the whole ground if you put it in the normal soil. So I'm placing this a little bit of this plant in one side of my terrarium jar. Now I am going to add the moss which I collected from my garden. This is the small variety that has small leaves. So I am going to fill up the space, the empty space. Wherever I see soil, I will be filling up with this moss. I am adding the other variety of moss. So that one also I am filling. I like that one because it has small leaves. It looks like trees, small trees. So that's why I took that moss, and I'm just placing it wherever I find space. I'm just a beginner in making these terrarium jars. So just like that, I saw so many videos on YouTube, like what all plants grow very well in terrarium jars, and what type of moss I can use, and where can I get the moss, and all these things. So I was like, I like to try making a terrarium jar. So that's why I started with what all plants I had. So wherever and whichever plant I like, I'm just placing it, whichever I feel like it will grow in a moisture climate. So that's why I'm just adding all those plants in these terrarium jars. Hope it grows very well. I will keep you updated with my terrarium jar in my future videos. I had ordered online on Amazon this miniature fairy garden things. So from that I am thinking of placing some of the small things like house, ladybugs inside my terrarium jar. I hope this looks good. Here I am using a small ladybug. It is a sticker. We can stick it on any of the rocks or any moss on top of the house or anywhere. So I'm just placing it on a moss. This is how my terrarium jar looks now. I have placed some rocks also inside. These round rocks I had in front of our house, so I bought them, I cleaned them, and I placed it inside, and then I sprayed water using my spray bottle. And so this is how it looks from the outside. I hope this looks good, and what do you guys say? Just comment below. So quickly I will show you another terrarium because I have realized that there are lots of moss left out, and I want to make one more. Here I am using a cylindrical jar, and this is also an open terrarium. So I will show you how I made. this is how it looks, a small house with 2 mushrooms and a tree, and surrounded with greenery. I hope you like this one. So in this video I have made 3 different varieties of terrarium using the moss that I got from my garden and the plants that I used. So this is the first variety which I showed you in this video. This is how it looks in the end by spraying the water and all. This is an open terrarium. The second one, this is in a plastic jar, and I have used these type of miniature things inside my terrarium. This is a closed one. This has lid, so I will be closing it, and I will update you with how this looks after some months. Then this is the third one. This is the cylindrical glass jar. This is a simple one which I love a lot. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Bye.